Hello, BookTube. Well, much to my surprise, in the teeth of the oncoming Winter Storm Harper, the mail delivered a huge amount in a big plastic tub. And once again, I missed the delivery. This is not good. I don't want to collect these plastic tubs. They pile up easily if you don't keep track of it. So I really need, the next time it happens, to catch the mail person. It's just random chance, and make sure that they collect all the empties. But in the meantime, we have a lot to go through. So let's see what we have here. This will be the last mail haul of the week. Who knows what? Last mail haul for quite some time. I mean, it's no mail on Sunday, and then Monday is a holiday, so there won't be any mail then either. And then I think next week there's another winter storm on the way. Unless it turns to rain, we shall see. Let's see here. What have we got here? Okay, well, yeah, all right, okay, well, yeah, okay, that's 4 pages of interview. 4 pages of interview. What have we got here? All right, this comes out in early February in a paperback. This is by Ayesha Haruna Atta, and it is The 100 Wells of Salaga. Okay. Okay, even more press material. Well, all I want to know about the book. This was recently named one of the millions most anticipated books of the first half of 2019, and it's a novel centered around the lives of 2 women during the scramble for Africa in pre-colonial Ghana. Interesting. Okay. And the author wrote this book because she is descendant of a woman who was called the Slave. She ended up in the Salaga slave market in northern Ghana, and not much else is known about where she came from. This book is to allow her to speak through Ayesha of the family she lost, of the roots she was forced on, of the man she would marry, of the time when people probably unknown to her, the country was just in the throes of being colonized. Okay. This is a novel, and spirits don't exist. And this author doesn't have a Ouija board. So the slave did not speak through this author. The slave is long dead. This author has instead decided to write a fictional account of what she imagines some aspects of that person's life might have been like. Telling me that this is your great revered ancestor and that she spoke through you in order to give voice to her experiences is your attempt to critic-proof this novel. And you couldn't do that even if this was a memoir. You couldn't do that even if this was your reconstructed biography of that woman. It would still be a work of art. It would still be something that you aren't sharing just with friends and family. You're sharing it with the outside world. This is a novel. How does it work as a novel? Am I allowed to criticize it? Your revered ancestor is speaking through you. Is it sacrilege? Is it total disrespect for me to criticize this, to say the dialogue doesn't hold up? Well, but that's what I heard her say to me. So we shall see. Certainly, I am a big fan of Ghana, and it sounds like this will be yet more historical fiction. I just don't, as you know from recent books that we've got that tried the same sort of crap, I don't like it when authors try to critic-proof their work by saying, you know, this is my revered gran. So you're not going to criticize the book, are you? If you don't want that to happen, then don't put it out in the public sphere. But anyway, let's move on. Oh, fantastic. Okay, all right. This is Simenon. This is George Simenon. This is Maigret and the Old People. Look at that cover, huh? This is I've mentioned this before many times. This is part of an ongoing series that Penguin is doing, where they're reprinting, or not reprinting, they're retranslating all of Simenon's Maigret novels, and a lot of his other novels too. But the Maigret novels put together, all the white spines all together like this, is a tremendous achievement. And these used to exist in, I'm sure some of you remember, these little mass market paperbacks that all had the silhouette, the figure of a trench-coated inspector on the cover down in the corner, and then some picture. These are much better designed. They're beautiful, in fact. And I have a couple of those mass markets held over from when I had them all. And I have, over the last year or more, gone over some of these together, and the new translations are very, very good. They are almost always an improvement. And these Maigret novels, I don't know if you've ever read them or if you've been tempted, or you may have seen these in your local bookstore. They're delectable. They really are. They're a wonderful snapshot of 1950s Paris. They're a wonderful precursor to a lot of much worse police procedural writings. This is police procedural is done fairly well. The cumulative effect of getting to know Maigret and long-suffering Madame Maigret and some of his stalwart crew actually is real. You get a sense of knowing these people after a few novels. And the best thing about them, of course, is that it takes almost as little time to read them as it took Simenon to write them. You can pop these things down like candy, and they are just as satisfying as candy. So that's great to have another one. That's wonderful, because I think I've just read the last one, the previous one to this one. So what have we got? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So in addition to getting Simenon in the mail, I also get Penguin Classics in the mail, and that's what I got here. This is a Penguin Classic of The Nine Cloud Dream, presumably in a new translation, translated with an afterword and notes by Heinz Insu Fenkel. This is Korea's prized literary masterpiece, a Buddhist journey questioning the illusions of human life, presented in a vivid new translation. Written in 17th century Korea, this classic novel's wondrous story begins when a young monk living on a sacred lotus peak in China succumbs to the temptation of 8 fairy maidens. For doubting his master's Buddhist teaching, the monk is forced to endure a strange punishment, reincarnation as the most ideal of men. On his journey through this new life full of material, martial, and sensual accomplishments beyond his wildest dreams, each success brings him closer and closer to finally comprehending the fundamental truths of the Buddha's teachings. Okay, I've never read The Nine Cloud Dream in any English translation, so that's fantastic. So that's a new Penguin Classic for me. That's wonderful. All right, let's move on here. I believe somewhere in this this tub here, there is a box. So we'll root around, and if there is one, we'll save it for last. First, we have one of these Chernobyl explosion packages where you have to destroy the thing completely in order to get what's inside it. You can't just open one side of it, because the inside is vaguely adhesive, so it'll hold on to whatever it has unless you completely destroy the package. Very annoying. I suspect it's made to be annoying. Okay, so what have we got here? This is a finished copy by Emily Bernard. We've got lots and lots of blurbs. We've got her speaking schedule. I don't want to put on pants, so I'm not going to need her speaking schedule. This comes out at the end of January. So this is Black is the Body. Stories from my grandmother's time, my mother's time, and mine. 12 deeply personal and interconnected essays that make up the author's first memoir. She begins with an episode of violence. While a graduate student at Yale, she was working in a coffee shop when a stranger randomly stabbed her and 6 others with a knife. That shocking attack would eventually unleash the storyteller in her, and in these pages she seeks to find a language to capture the fullness and complexities of her experiences as a victim, a woman, a black American, a teacher, a writer, a mother, a wife, and a daughter. Each of the essays is anchored in a mystery, and each explores the nuances and paradoxes of Bernard's identity, as a woman who grew up black in the South and who married a white man from the North, as a black professor teaching mostly white students in Vermont about race, and as a mother who adopted 2 babies from Ethiopia. Okay, all that sounds fascinating. And this has lots and lots of praise from various literary journals, so that's great. My only quibble with it was the one that I just mentioned, which is this supposed to be critic-proof? Am I allowed to say that some of these essays are less effective than others? Or maybe even, God forbid, that none of them is effective at all? Am I allowed to say that? I don't know if I am or not. I guess I'll find out. It's just a little bit bothersome, that's all. But it could be that it's all that I'm wearing for naught. It could be that in both cases these things are fine, the novel and the memoirs. So let's see what we have next here. It's like Christmas morning here, got so much stuff. Hi, Bean. You want to say hi to your friends? Ooh, you know they want to say hi to you. Huh? Ooh. Oh. those people? Huh? Who are they? Oh. 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 Do you want some mail? Do you want some mail? Huh? Oh, you do. Oh, great. Okay. Fantastic. All right. This is something we've seen on this channel before. This comes out in late February. This is A Weekend in New York by Benjamin Markovits, which I've already read, but I will definitely read it again in this finished copy. That's great. It's a novel. Paul Essinger is a mid-ranking tennis pro still on the circuit. His girlfriend Dana is an ex-model and photographer and the mother of their 2-year-old son Cal. Together they form a picture of the contented upper-middle-class New York family. But summer storms are blowing through Manhattan, and Paul's parents have come to stay in the build-up to the U.S. Open. Over the course of the weekend, several generations of domestic tension are brought to a boiling point. And I largely liked this when I read it, but I'm eager to give it another appraisal and see. I have a suspicion there were quite a few things that I missed, so that's great. Glad to have it. Let's see what's next one. You want another one of these, Bean? Oh. She's stretching as much as she's jumping. She's sleepy. Let's see here. Okay, what is this? Okay, this is from Bloomsbury Publishing. It's a lovely thing. It's going to be a hardcover in August. In August. I'm right under the gun of a winter storm, and this thing's giving me a book from August. This is by Lisa Traeger, and it is The Dragon Lady. Let's see here. What is this? This brings to life the untold story of another fiercely independent and inspiring woman ahead of her time, Lady Virginia Courtland, the Dragon Lady, so called for the exotic tattoo snaking up her leg. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. This is a novel about Virginia Courtland, Courtauld, but there's a biography of Virginia Courtauld that also has Dragon Lady in the title, isn't there? Why am I remembering that? Oh, see, this is one of the problems of being bombarded with book stuff all the time. Things tend to jumble together. I could swear this is not the only book on this subject that we're getting in 2019. All right, well, anyway, it doesn't take away from this book. Her marriage to textile millionaire Stephen Courtauld sent shockwaves through the London society of the 1920s. Not only was she not the right pedigree, being half Italian, half Transylvanian, but she had a scandalous tattoo and rejected the submissive role women were expected to play. In The Dragon Lady, the author recounts Jeannie's extraordinary life, from the glamorous Italian Riviera of the 1920s to the Art Deco glory of Eltham Palace in the 1930s, and from the secluded Scottish Highlands to the sultry, segregated Rhodesia of the 1950s. Maybe this is the book I'm thinking of. I could swear I remember a nonfiction work on this same person coming out in 2019. But either way, it doesn't matter. Like I say, it doesn't affect this book. This is coming out in August and is yet another piece of historical fiction for 2019. Great. Okay. So let's keep going. Let's move on here. I do see the box now. Now that I'm uncovering quite a bit, I see the box. Oh. So what have we got here? Okay, fantastic. Okay, this comes out in mid-February. I have been waiting for this. It's from Harvard University Press, and yet, despite the fact that Harvard University Press and I are besties, I did not get the advanced copy of this. So I'm only getting the finished copy. And it's Lord Cornwallis is Dead by Nico Slate. Do democratic states bring about greater social and economic equality among their citizens? Yes, they do. Modern India embraced universal suffrage from the moment it was free of British imperial rule in 1947, a historical rarity in the West. And yet Indian citizens are far from realizing equality today. The United States, the first British colony to gain independence, continues to struggle with intolerance and the consequences of growing inequality in the 21st century. From Boston Brahmins to Gandhi, from Hollywood to Bollywood, Nico Slate traces the continuous transmission of democratic ideas between two former colonies of the British Empire. Gandhian nonviolence lay at the heart of the American civil rights movement. Key Indian freedom fighters sharpened their political thought by studying and working in the United States, and the Indian American community fought its own battle for civil rights. Okay, I'm on board. Absolutely on board. And in this particular case, all right, so this comes out in February, but I'm going to read it tonight. And in this particular case, you all heard me complain about how university presses tend to give historical monographs boring covers that consist of blurry black and white or sepia tone photographs. And you'd think I would be complaining too, but look at this. Look at that. In this case, the black and white archival photo was well chosen. So I'm not going to complain about that. That is a gripping cover. So look at those eyes. so I'm not complaining. Lord Cornwallis is dead goes on the immediate read list. So let's see what's next here. Another hardcover, it feels like. Oh, another Harvard University Press. Okay. Okay, so this is another thing from Harvard. This is by Kara Dixon Vuic, V-U-I-C. The Girls Next Door, bringing the front lines, bringing the home front to the front lines. So what is this? Award-winning author and historian tells the story of the intrepid young women who volunteered to help and entertain American servicemen fighting overseas from World War I to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. In 1954, when Marilyn Monroe shimmied onto stage in Korea, she did more than delight the thousands of U.S. soldiers in the audience. She continued a long tradition of women serving as accessories to the U.S. military action, acting as tantalizing morale boosters and wholesome reminders of home. And this is a story of that. I don't think I've ever read a history of that. Fantastic. Okay. All right, so I assume this is soon. This has got to be soon. Yeah, early February. Okay, so this is another February thing that probably should go on the pile right away. Let's see what we have next here. We're getting closer. This is a long mail haul, but not an endless one. We're getting closer. Oh, great. Oh, fantastic. Okay. We saw this already. I think we saw the advanced copy of this. Good Lord, look at all this praise. Oh, my. Okay. This is also a February release. This is by Steve Luxemburg, and it is Separate. The story of Plessy v. Ferguson and America's journey from slavery to segregation. Wow. Okay. Plessy v. Ferguson is synonymous with Jim Crow laws and the unjust doctrine of separate but equal. But few Americans know more than the name of the case and have more than a superficial understanding of its origin and outcome. In this myth-shattering new book, Steve Luxemburg tells one of the most compelling and dramatic stories of the 19th century, cutting to the heart of battles over race and equality that have raged throughout America to the present day. Wow, okay, so this is going to be... Would I guess correctly that this is going to be exhaustively... Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. All right. So this is not just... that you could easily write a book on Plessy v. Ferguson in 2019 with the country more polarized than it's been since then, since Reconstruction. You could easily write a book that would just be phoning it in, and it would still get talked about. It would still get reviewed. But this is exhaustive. This is not that book. This is the real thing. Wow. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, I have had the big fat advance copy of this, and I haven't touched it. So now you're seeing, in addition to a mail haul, you're seeing a TBR being built, because there are a few books on here that I want to get to right away. And this is one of them. Wow. Okay, great. And then we have the box, and then we're done with our last mail haul of the week. The Bean has retired from the mail destroying business. She just doesn't. She's really tired. So I think what we're going to do, since we haven't been out in a while, I think what we're going to do is suit up and go outside now. Even though she's tired and probably won't much feel like it. We'll suit up, we'll go outside, we'll walk around a bit until she pees and poops, just in case we go out again at 10 or 11 and the world is ending out there. If there's sleet falling down, she's not going to want to go outside. So maybe we'll do that. A little precautionary bathroom break. So what have we got here? It's a box. It's from Oxford. Oh, okay, great. All right, this comes out in early February 1st. Part of a series? Is this part of a series? It's by Mark Connolly and Stefan Goebel. Okay, yes it is. It's part of a series of great battles. This is a great battle series that has also covered Gallipoli, Waterloo, Agincourt, El Alamein, Gettysburg. Okay, so it's a little thing. It's just sort of a familiar thing. Other publishers have done great battles series like this. And this is about the 1914 battle. A sleepy Belgian city admired by many for its remarkable Gothic architecture. A few months later, the armies of World War I arrived and destruction commenced. Okay. All right, so a lot of times these things can be trots. It depends entirely on what kind of a mood the writer is in at the time, and also timing and practicalities. You give these two authors, for instance, the brief to do the next book in the Great Battle series, and it happens to be about a key battle of World War I. What happens if one of these authors has been working for years on a gigantic book, a 600-page book about that battle? Then what do you do? Or what if they know someone who is working on such a thing, or are friends with someone, or have collegial relationships with someone? It's tricky. It's tricky to do. Of course, this deserves a longer thing in a way. In another way, it deserves a book even shorter than this. There's great battles or great presidents or great kings or anything like that often run into logistical problems like that, because there's almost always a bigger work in the making out there somewhere on the same subject. So you don't know what to do. You have your brief, you have your word count, you have a deadline, and you don't know whether or not to really, break a sweat on what you're doing or not. And the success of the book, the memorableness of the book, usually lives or dies by what decisions you make regarding that. So for instance, in the old the Penguin Live series, some of you remember they were little hardcovers that Penguin brought out, just 100-page biographies of various notable people in history, and quite a few of them were trots, just a basic walkthrough where the author might have started with grand illusions, but they end up just parroting Wikipedia. Same thing with the very short introduction series that's still going on to this day, where a very short introduction to a person's life, or particle physics, or World War I battles or whatever, already exists many times over in many different places online. So the thing that will save it will be either original research, which I doubt you're really going to want to do for a book in a series as opposed to your own book, or the spirit and insight with which you write the book, which happened, for instance, in that Penguin Live series. Roy Blount wrote his little volume on Robert E. Lee is incredible. And of course, the greatest volume in that whole series is Elizabeth Hardwick writing about Herman Melville. Just an astonishing work that was far and away different from most of the books in that series. So it's just a risk you run. But the nice thing is this won't take more than half an hour, so I'll be able to gobble it right now and see if it's any good. I mean, I'm sure that it'll be good. I just want to, will it be anything that you even think about keeping? If you have a World War I library, I don't know. I'll find out and I'll report back. So that's it. That is our last mail haul of the week before the storm. We have separate. Look at that. Look at the spine, black and white like that. Fantastic. The Girls Next Door, about female performers who went to help the then largely male audience. Give them morale, make them think of home. Then Lord Cornwallis is Dead, about America and India, two former British colonies, how they deal with the struggles of equality. Let's see, what else we got here? The next Great Battles series. The next in the Great Battles series. I've read a couple of them. They didn't really make a strong impression on me, so we'll see. We'll see about this one. Then A Weekend in New York, Benjamin Markowitz's finished copy. The Dragon Lady by Louise Prager, a novel. Black is the Body about all the different aspects of being black and female, a mother, a daughter, a granddaughter. Sounds fascinating. Then The Nine Cloud Dream, which will be the latest Penguin classic, a Korean masterpiece. Maigret and the Old People, the newest in Penguin's ongoing retranslation of all the mysteries, the Maigret mysteries, and The Hundred Wells of Salaga, a historical drama set in Ghana. So there you go. That is our mail haul for the day. It's darkening outside, so I'm going to wrap this up and take my little bean out for a stroll, just in case we don't feel like going out again tonight. But that'll be it for now. But I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.